The goal was to resolve the so-called Indian problem. So in 1883, the Canadian government officially instituted the residential school system. By the 1930s, nearly 75% of Indigenous children between the ages of 7 and 15 were forced to attend these schools. Unable to return home for months or even years, Indigenous children were often neglected and abused, stripped of their language and culture. Thousands of children died while at residential school. Others went missing, never to be seen again. At least 150,000 First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children were institutionalized over the course of more than 100 years. There are approximately 80,000 living survivors. This is our family's story of 7 generations affected by residential schools.
Probably over the past 20 years, learning and understanding about residential school and why children had to go to residential school. It wasn't a choice for them or their parents or grandparents to go. I know that my mother was about 7 or 8. Her name was Nina Sam Nana Humias when she got dropped off at Port Alberni Residential School. My father, Spencer Point, from Musqueam Nation, his name was Tsonai. His parents came from Musqueam, and him and his siblings ended up in Port Alberni and Coquilitsa residential schools. So my mom and dad both grew up without parents and not knowing, why they had to be in the school or where their family was. My mom didn't have any more family around because her sisters were 10 years older. I think the sad thing is that she was alone and had to stay there through the school year and the summers as well, so she never had a place to go home to. They married, both of them, not knowing how to be parents or how to be probably in love or know what that means, because neither of them had it. I started to understand residential school and her life was, I went to a treatment program wondering, why our family drank, because our life was full of drinking and lots of strange people in the house, and it was always loud and some people we didn't know. My dad always seemed to be happy, but he also had his violent side. And so in my training, it was hard work, and it was hard to learn and understand how come my mom and dad drank and how come everybody on a reserve drank. Like most people in Nanaimo came from somewhere else and lived married in Nanaimo. When we tried to say, people were coming into our bedroom and, didn't know how to say that to my mom, that, we're being abused, or how do you say that to your mom? And she's like, no, that didn't happen. It's taken so long for healing in our world of First Peoples that it's scary sometimes. And, it's a lot of worry and crying moms and missing dads and violence still, and that our babies will grow up never. I don't want my grandson to ever hit a woman, Xavier. I don't want my grandson to ever smoke or drink, but how can I stop it when it's in his life?
Well, growing up, my mom actually went to residential school, and both her parents went to residential school. My mom's mom passed away when she was 13, and after that, her father ended up drinking. By the time she was, before she even turned 14, she ended up moving out because she didn't want to live with her dad when he was drinking. So she ended up moving in with her older sister. But yeah, just growing up, both my parents were full-blown alcoholics. There was probably 1 or 2 days out of the year that my parents would be sober. So I grew up, had to teach myself how to cook. Either my mom was having a party at her house or she was out drinking. So I thought that was normal growing up. I thought everybody's family was like that, right? And then by the time I was 11, I was moving back and forth with different family members and, living with my sister, living with my auntie. Every 6 months I was somewhere else. And by that time I was getting into my addiction. Drinking. So, by the time I was 16, I couldn't go 2 days without drinking. All the way up until my 20s, and then I became a full-blown addict, doing drugs every day. Yeah, now I feel like I just need to smarten up and get my life together, It's been my whole life, me, just doing the same things over and over and over again. So, I'm really glad I'm getting some clean time under my belt, and
it's been the same for me. Alcohol and drugs. My parents, that's my entire childhood. I blacked out. The memories I do have of my childhood were the parties, the music from, as a child being in the bedroom and just hoping I don't hear the stairs, somebody coming up the stairs. I didn't know if it was a person drunk, or I didn't know if it was a person, my dad, coming to beat me up. But I always have those memories of the fear, please nobody come up the stairs tonight. When I was 14, I got into addiction. Drinking, weekend parties and stuff. Had kids when I was 15, 2 kids by the time I was 18. So intergenerational trauma and stuff. I look at where my kids are now, my older 2. It's just, I passed it on. The trauma, the drinking and stuff, they were taken away from me 3 times before they aged out, right? Once when they're babies, and again when they're 6 and 8 years old, and then they stayed in the ministry until they aged out, right? And I didn't learn about intergenerational trauma until now, and doing the history on residential schools, right? I didn't understand what residential schools were. Not until we just learned them, right? So then it gives me an idea of why my parents didn't have the love for me, didn't know how to show me true parenting skills. So that was devastating for me to see that, like on the media now, right? Like the social media, you can go and find all kinds of shit on there, and then I understand now. I understand what they went through, and it breaks my heart that knowing my kids have gone through it, right? And I just trying to do this to break the cycle. But my goals for the future are to just bring awareness to my community so we can have homes, places, a recovery center just for, there's a couch. If you're homeless, come stay on the couch. We'll get you a bed. I want a place for them to not be where I was, not be in a tent. I see our elders and I see children on the streets, on our community, on the reserves, still homeless today. And, if I can bring awareness to my community for that, just to help them with accommodations for, of something what I got, right? Like, my health center did a lot for me, and I worked a little bit for it, but it's come a long way. Our health center has come a long way in the last 2 or 3 years to bring the accommodations for us, right? They put us in a trailer after my accident. I don't think we would be clean and sober today without my health center, right? If I was homeless today, I don't think I would be clean and sober. There's no way. No. So I want more of that for my community. There's not enough room for all the people homeless, and that's what I'm trying to build, is more space and more homes for them. A recovery center would be a start, right? All it is a home that beds 10 people that want recovery, that want to start a program to get themselves started, right? Because it's just so hard to get yourself out. Where do I start? Where do I get out? The whole goal of my life in recovery now is to start a recovery center. So there's a place for them to go, right? That want to be clean, that want a way out of the cycle, like they have nowhere, right? So I just want to bring attention to my nation about the homelessness, right? About the pain that our brothers and sisters are still going through right now, right? A lot of people just don't know about it, and it's hard. They don't see it, right? So what they don't see doesn't affect their day-to-day life, right? So I want to bring attention to that